Hi, everybody. I'm coming on late again. This is day, oh goodness, let me check. Let me check. I just posted it. We're talking 2,038 days since Richard was forcibly removed. Sorry, I've been talking a lot today. 2,038 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there on Fort Bliss, taken down to the basement room, the arms room, and his life was taken from him because he was a whistleblower. And he is the center of all of what is going on. Really, he's the hero. He's absolutely the hero, because he absolutely stood stellar, a stellar soldier, reporting this very dark underbelly that is in sorry, that is in this world. Really. It's just, I'm coming on late because I'm going over all of the information that we have collected, and we have to go through and identify how this pertains to Richard's case. And it is just absolutely crazy, crazy, very dark underbelly that is being revealed to all of us. And so let's get started, really. Let's get started. The first, make sure that I'm on. Because I can't see comments right at the moment. I know there's an easier way to do this, but it's been so intense with everything going on. And when all this information comes in, you have to go through it, and you have to identify the crimes, and then record it, document the crimes, and then you have to file the crimes. And this is really important for everyone to know. Our government can't do what they're doing unless nobody reports the crimes. So the crimes need to be reported. Therefore, you have to document them. You have to identify them. And it is some work, but it is, how much do we value our freedom, right? How much do you value God's world? St. Augustine called it the city of God, right? And one thing that going through all of this the last week, and Mencho, being captured and killed, and his books being opened to us, his logbook, um, his ledgers being revealed to us, which absolutely shines the light even brighter on everything that we know. And one thing that, just overwhelmingly, there are a group of people, a, a, a group that have a different family structure than Christians. And that family structure has a lot of problems. A lot of problems. And that family structure is what Erika Kirk comes from. a very problematic family structure and trained to impersonate benevolence or joy or that they have it all together when they come from a family structure that is absolutely problematic, criminal, absolutely criminal. Um, I'm just astonished. They have no fear of God, no fear of God, or very little fear of God. And yet they speak about God continuously. She speaks about God continuously, but has no fear of God. When we're, and really, I think that is one of the biggest psyops right now is like it's something evil to fear God. No, I don't think it's evil at all. When you're out and about and your friends want you to do something that you know is bad, that is detrimental to your health, that's detrimental to your soul, that's bad for the community, you go, oh gosh, if my mom finds out, if my dad finds out, I'm really going to get in trouble. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And when you don't come from a family structure like that, that puts restraints on you because we're fallen, right? We can stumble. We can go the wrong way very easily. And our family is God's institution to help us, to restrain, to put us in the right path, to be our help in a time of need. Um, it, so if you're out and about and you're told to be an impersonator, to lie continuously, to act fraudulently, to be a scammer, to be, and the parents are going, oh yeah. And then you learn no fear. You learn no fear. You have no fear of God. And things get so crazy, so hurtful. So many people are hurt, including our son, including our family. Because then you have all kinds of crimes against children, all kinds of crimes against, it's always the children and the older people and the young women, and because they're the weaker ones, right? And we're not allowed to say that, but but it's the truth. It's the truth. Um, they get really, and of course, men too, right? Men get hurt from all of this because the whole family structure is so skewed. They're told that they can just go and have sex with whoever whenever they want. It's okay. And it's not. It's not. It's so detrimental to their spirit, to their health. The same thing with what we can't. And, you know, and I'm probably going to get in trouble saying this, but one thing I've learned in this 5.5 years is so many people say this like, well, I don't care what those people do in their bedroom or who they want to love or whatever, this and that. I don't care. It doesn't have anything to do with me. They can do what they want. And I'm like, no, nope, that's a psyop. That's a total lie because we have been absolutely attacked with vile and vulgar, sexually laced attacks threats all the time. It absolutely has to do with the spirit, the soul, the relationships that are sexual, and all of this, that they have been so sexually abused, so hurt by their sexual relationships, um, products of this terrible sex cult activity that leads to even worse crimes, or, and it is just a miracle that the painting that I was working on when all of this started almost 6 years ago was of Justinian and Theodora being the one that had gone through all of that also. This very anti-God family structure that she suffered through terribly, and that God made her an empress, and she codexed family law. It was her. It was Theodora, of course, with the help of her husband, who codexed the other parts of the law, Justinian. And it's just, I'm going to have to really do a whole podcast on that, because it absolutely has everything to do with what's going on right now. And I don't think, before I get into all my posts that we put together, and I posted up on Find Richard Halliday Facebook, and I try to go and post it on X, because behind the scenes there's so many other things going on, um, um, responses and um, drafting and investigation and research and following everything that's going on in politics and in these cases that connect with Richard. And like I said, Richard's case is so big. It's like the center, the epicenter of of everything going on. And you know that it is, because media is so afraid to say Richard Halliday's name. Even conservative podcasters have a very hard time. It was really amazing that uh, that Stu Peters posted up the part where Mitch Snow, who was the witness that individuals, family, including Erika Kirk, was at Fort Huachuca just the day or two before Eric Charlie Kirk lost his life. That was amazing, and it's up there. It's posted up there. I need to post it again. So I'm losing my train of thought here, but all of this is so connected and so crazy that, I'm trying to formulate it all. And that's why we're up. We are working so hard behind the scenes, and we have some breaking news from all the work that we've been doing. And that goes to my post. So let's put this up. I know it's funny how I do things, but Okay, so I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, there you go. I think you can see it now, right? So let's go down a little bit to George Giorgetti, because I think that is, did I pass it already? Oh yeah, I think I passed it. Late last night I put up the good news about Jose Luis purchase Ariano Caron. Um, that the judge is absolutely, the prosecutors there in Mexico are being really driven and forced by the victim's family and by us um, to get Jose Luis back in jail. And also, I think the whole family, right? All the owners need to be arrested. So we'll see what comes up. Oh yeah, here, here we have this funny little meme. I thought it was these elephant noses on the Clintons. Don't forget, part of the pipeline is Haiti. And the Clinton Foundation absolutely has a big part in that. And so, what they're saying, because this pipeline, nothing in this pipeline was happening without going through Jeffrey Epstein and the Zorro Ranch and the Trilateral Commission, these business people and all that. So, they absolutely, absolutely are lying. There's no doubt in my mind. Um, and of course, he has, Clinton has a history. They have a history of not telling the truth, misrepresenting, um, and the blue dress was a big example of that. What was on the blue dress was a big example of that. And, then it all came out. But, these people are just they have no fear of God, like I said. They are just compulsive liars. They just are continuous liars. So, they've lost all credibility. I did post this up about Richard, just so everyone sees his face and understand what's going on, that we are in the vicious, um, really vicious negotiations for the repatriation of his remains that are in Mexico. Okay. So, yeah, handsome hero, absolutely. He stood, there, and he didn't just stand. He absolutely reported with multiple agencies. And that is very, very clear from all the response and all of the documents that we have. This right here is George Giorgetti. And he was arrested December 24th, 2025. But we just found out today that he was arrested. He is being accused of indecent assault and sexual assault. Both of those are very, very serious crimes. And the news is reporting that, right? The news is reporting that. What the news is not reporting is that the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office had hired him and placed him in victims advocacy at the shelters for the DA's office, was paying this predator with taxpayers' money to go and have access to very vulnerable individuals as a religious advisor, quote unquote, as the DA's victim's advocate. Are you kidding me? And we reported, we've been right all along. When we found out of the accusations against him, we moved with swiftness, like I was just saying, behind the scenes. So many things are happening behind the scenes, and we have to check it out, and we have to read through it and document it and then file it and then report it, right? And we reported it online, but we documented it and filed it also with the agencies, um, that they needed to arrest him right away, and that the DA's office could not have him on their payroll, placing him at shelters with vulnerable individuals. This is like the DA is facilitating predator activity with taxpayers' money. This happened on October 6th. October 6th. What would have happened if we didn't file? Because guess who was advising him legally? Guess who was advising him legally? I have her name right here. Denise Butterworth. Okay, who is Denise Butterworth? She's right in the middle. She was the protege of Jaime Esparza. She trained James Bonneau Montoya. Alert. What? Yikes. She is a senior attorney in the DA's office. And she was advising, legally protecting, covering up for George Giorgetti's religious advisory predator victims advocate sexual assaults. Is that what she was doing? And she wants to be our judge. She wants to be a judge on taxpayer dime. I don't think she's a good fit. I think she's unfit. And this is what I'm saying. These people have a family structure that is so skewed that it becomes a sex cult, and facilitating it and covering up for it. And they're doing it on taxpayers' dime? Yeah. So we gave this warning. I posted it. We gave this warning on October 6th, 2025. And what that tells you is that we were right. That we were right. That we've been right all along. That we work our tails off behind the scenes to give you the most accurate information. Information that the media fails to give. And that is so criminal, because in my opinion, because the media investigating and being the watchdog, right? And pointing out these discrepancies, these irregularities, these scams, these what the attorney in the DA's office, that is a senior attorney, is protecting a predator on DA. I don't know if he was on the DA's dime when it happened, but oh yeah, oh yeah. Y- Y'all, I have to be so careful, right? Because these people are predators. And when you call them out they start to snarl and everything because they have no fear of God. They have no contrite heart. They have no sense of um, really confession, which is a sacrament. It's a Christian sacrament. Confession is a Christian sacrament. And part of that is the epistemological self-consciousness, right? These people have no epistemological self-consciousness. Know who you are. They don't know who they are because they lie and impersonate continuously, that they have lost any sense and knowledge of their own identity. And that's why they don't even see themselves in the image of God. And so there's no self-respect there. There's no respect for others. It's very clear. And any attorney that is going to protect and cover up and advise, work in order to protect someone that is targeting vulnerable individuals at shelters for the DA's office. These are victims then, as a victim advocate, to do felony level crimes: indecent assault, sexual assault. And I'm not going to get into what he was doing, but it was so bad. And she wants that to be protected while they are doing everything they can to stop accountability for Richard's case. Wow. And it really tells you who Jaime Esparza is, right? And who, well, fraud, Mr. Fraud, James Bonneau 2028 stamp, crossed out now. The crossed out 2028 stamp. Norma, I can't even believe you put that stamp there. I think you must have not got a lot of sleep. You must have, I don't know. That is crazy. Absolutely criminal. And he is absolutely a fraud. So this was a really big deal today. Of course, we are really wanting to alert everyone to the fact that the cartel, especially the CJNG, is in the United States. Every state, every state, lists the 50 states, they are embedded in our country, every state. And so we, want to really alert everyone about that, because the media, or the way they present things, I don't know, they want you to believe that the cartel stays over there, oh, it's in Mexico, it's okay. No, that's not okay. That's not okay because of all of the tentacles. And the tentacles are coming from El Paso into Mexico. Not Mexico into the United States. The tentacles are coming from El Paso. And because I put a lot on the colonies are coming in, but no, it's El Paso. And they think, oh, it'll stay over there in Juarez. But no, Richard, the Fort Bliss whistleblower soldier, heroic soldier, his case proves that the cartel was already here on Fort Bliss with our soldiers. They're in the judicial system. The Mayella, Crucius, right? Walmart mass shooting. Um, that whole case absolutely screams that they are embedded, and there's more to come there. But absolutely, Richard's case central to all of this, and we just wanted to make sure because they are using taxpayer money again to give themselves a salary to and all of the trafficking, all of the stolen. I can't even imagine how much stolen um, just in the last decade. It's just like mind blowing, mind blowing. And they have to have ways to launder that money. Okay. So when you steal money, when you earn money illicitly, or I hope that an illicit crimes, right? With illicit crimes, let's say drugs or all that, you have to have a way to clean that money. And so this goes to like the another amazing point. I don't even want to say a main point because there's so many different things that happen today, and each one of them is jaw dropping. I don't even know. I'd have to be on here all day long telling you everything that's coming in to keep you up to date. So please do your homework and please share this. Please share this information because, they're all like, get ready for World War III. No, look, we have we need to clean house. We need to clean house. There's no, and I think President Trump would be so foolish to go to any kind of war right now. And I'm big supporter. And if he's listening, my opinion on this whole thing, and of course I don't have the intel, just from my position, and we are absolutely, we have so much information. Not as much as he does, but we have a lot of information, more information than we've ever had in our life. We would be so foolish to go to any kind of war right now. So foolish. Our focus, just because, not because our military couldn't handle it. I think our military could. Not because of that, not because of the infiltration and all of that. It's because of the focus. Right now, the focus of the United States is where we want it to be, on the internal corruption that our country is suffering under, that has stripped us from our sovereignty. And the same thing for Mexico. If we go to war, it diverts the attention. And the years that it took, the grace that it took to get to this point, to get people focused and understanding of the level of fraud, the level of corruption, the level of impersonators, and those that are in important positions that do not care at all about their oaths, that do not fear God at all, that have a very skewed opinion of what family is. Um, it's yes, all the focus is on that. The sex cult, the education, the level of internal fraud, billions and billions of dollars, if not trillion. And to go to war to divert that attention would be a huge mistake. A huge, so foolish. Because President Trump, I know, has, and his State of the Union address absolutely tells you that we were right, that his focus is on transparent, showing the world that we have members in Congress that are so busy with their fraud, with exploiting people coming into this country illegally, that they don't want to stand up for the American people because they're exploiting the American people too. It was one of the most honest situations we've seen. They couldn't even stand up when he is calling them out for not even valuing their oath of office. That's the only time I've seen them be honest. And there's a lot of rhinos too. And I call them out too. So the focus is on this fraud right now. And El Mencho cartel, what is just brilliant, what happened that was just so brilliant, was that they captured his ledgers, his books that show where the payments were going to, that the payments were going to the police, that the payments were going to the prosecutors, that the payments were going to the politicians, that the payments were going to those that get taxpayer money, even in Mexico, for protecting the people, but yet they are protecting the criminals. And it went all the way up. And that's why I think some were crying, and like the head of the army, um, and you see President Scheinbaum, just, I mean, she just doesn't know how to react, right? So it is really an amazing, amazing situation that the people finally have the curtain pulled back and can see how the underbelly has been exploiting us, and not only exploiting us, but targeting us and our families and our faith, of course, our children, our economy, our neighborhoods, our small businesses. How do you compete if you're a small business with the likes of the Purchase Ariano family, who can operate without even having a license, without even having a permit, and not even, I doubt if he even pays taxes, that they even pay taxes. And then they get all this wealth, and it's like Cesar Duarte. But how do small restaurants, any kind of small business compete when these cartel demons are allowed to operate with impunity like that, with being outside of the law, and then targeting our children, targeting everything, right? I mean, they're just like wanting to eat everything. They're human flesh peddlers, and human flesh eaters, and eaters of everything. No respect. So this leads to this. The slot machines, a lot of money was coming from the slot machines and El Mencho's books, his open books, his ledgers, It was amazing. Slot machines was a really big part of this. And of course, the lottery tickets. And so we looked into it. We didn't know this. I guess we kind of knew it, but our brains don't operate like this, right? And the lottery tickets and slot machines are like ATM machines for illegal activities, illicit money. They put it in, they take it out as winnings. So they put in the dirty money from drugs, from selling children, from whatever they're doing, and they'll bring it out as winnings. So what that's telling you is that these machines are fraud, that they are they're scams. They can be manipulated because they bring that money out um, as winnings, and then they have clean money. So that is, so even like lottery tickets, they were buying these lottery tickets. And remember, through this whole 5 years, what came out with the Walmart mass shooting case with Walmart is they were doing that with the gift cards, the Walmart gift cards. That was a big case also, that the cartels were using gift cards to clean their money. So, but now comes the crazy thing. Okay. Now comes the crazy thing. And I might have to read a little bit, but, and I'll read you this post because I think it's so important, because it's so jaw dropping. And it's such a blessing that that President Trump's administration, because this is American led raid, that drove the Mexican special forces to do this raid to capture El Mencho and the books. It's such a blessing, because what a great thing for Mexico, because and for the United States, because I'll tell you this, on Find Richard Halliday, the comments section, people will say, aha, yeah, whatever, they got him, they got all these cartel leaders, they're going to just be replaced. They're going to just be replaced. But wait a minute. This is different because we get to see inside the ledger. We get to see who was being bribed. This is different. This time is different. And if it wasn't, I would admit to it. We've been so patient for almost 6 years now, but not sitting on our hands, working our tails off, but patient, not letting ourselves get angry. I haven't been always good about that, but pretty good considering everything they've done to us. Trying to stay as calm as can be and as focused as can be to get to the bottom of this, and to get to a time such as this. This is different. This is not like the capture of El Mayo, like the capture of El Chapo. This is different. And to get these ledgers and to read this, what I'm about to read to you, it needs to be shared. And so I hope that everybody shares it, and to the point where you're opening it up and saying, hey, Sally, hey, John, hey, Margaret, hey, Maria, let me read this to you. Let me read this to you. Lottery tickets and slot machines are the cartel's favorite ATM. Cash intensive businesses where millions in drug money can be fed into machines, reported as winnings, and come out clean on the other side, which is exactly why El Mencho's captured Narconomia, I hope I say that right, meticulously tracked slot machine profits alongside cocaine and fentanyl sales and other sales, y'all. Other sales, I didn't put it in. The same dirty cash that paid off police and protected the trafficking pipeline that murdered our son, the Fort Bliss whistleblower soldier Richard Halliday. Candace Owens' deep dive into Erika Kirk's family history uncovers a chilling intersection. The Abbas, I think maybe it's Abbas, the Frenchie, I don't know, Solomon-Rothstein nexus sits at the perfect crossroads of this money laundering machinery. With casino tycoon Jack Solomon, who is married. He's married to Aunt Carla. This is Erika Kirk's aunt, right? Who is now, it's suspected that that could be her mother. Okay? I'm just saying what people are talking about. Okay? Because something is really fishy with the whole thing. So this Jack Solomon building an empire that legitimizes cash through gaming. The same blueprint El Mencho uses at Jalisco. The Rothstein crime dynasty, which is well documented, represents an organized crime blueprint that transforms illicit enterprises into corporate structures. So this is Erika Kirk's family, and it goes on. It goes on. The Frenchie side is layered. Carl Kenneth Frenchie, that's her grandfather, her Mofar. Okay, this is why something's not right, because a Mofar is her mother's father's side, the Swedish side, right? Because Mofar is Swedish. Was vice president of manufacturing at American Bank Note Company. Think about that. I'm inserting something. I probably should have inserted this. They had the contract for lottery tickets. Okay? So this manufacturing at American Bank Note Company had the contract for lottery tickets, the firm that prints currency and creates anti-counterfeit tech for governments worldwide. So this grandfather had a contract to make lottery tickets. That's what he did, his company, right? And she called him Mofar, okay, which is mother's father. But she claims that the Swedish part is on her father's side, which would then she would have to call her grandfather Farfar. That is like such a great piece of evidence and a tip, because you just don't call your father's father Mofar in Sweden. You just don't do it. Okay? And she does. And she does. So who's her mother? Something is weird there. And when I'm asking those questions, I'm asking the questions that are being asked by a lot of people following Candace Owens and all the evidence So I want to make that clear. The firm, okay, so to continue, his son now is Kent Franchi. So that is Erika Kirk's father, right? That's what they say. Founded CKF Group, a private investment group with ties to defense consulting, and Turning Point USA boards. Okay. Wow. This is that, and I just put it into just a little phrase because what he does is much bigger. So this is the investment. So you clean your money and then you want to invest it, right? You clean your money and you want to invest it. Wow. So let's go on more. And then you have Lori, who was the all source intelligence instructor contractor. She's a contractor, and when you're a contractor and you have devices, you go and instruct when you get that contract. So at Fort Huachuca, military intelligence, right in the same place. It's the U.S. Army's premier intel hub during the exact time period of Brooke Vizowski, right? The Epstein pilot's daughter, Lolita Express's pilot's daughter, is there as an officer in the Army in military intelligence that's getting top secret clearance. Jeffrey Epstein pilot's daughter is getting top secret clearance, is getting access to our intelligence databases. And in the same little community as Erika Kirk's mother or sister wife or whatever. And with Lieutenant Colonel Joshua Lyons, asymmetric warfare officer. Can you believe it? That was assigned as our first. We've had like 6, I think maybe 7, 6 casualty affair officers. And we caught him red-handed, weaponizing his training, his asymmetric warfare Army deception tactics against us with evidence, obstructing justice. That's where they operated, right there on Fort Huachuca. Okay, and then it goes on. The Abbas real estate network. Okay, that's another part of her family. Her mother's side, this is Lori's side of the family, provides the physical infrastructure. They're the ones that had the property, right? Where cash becomes legitimate commercial assets, turning profits into buildings. So slot machines launder cartel cash. Casino Solomon, perfect. They perfect it. Currency printing tech, Carl Kenneth Franchi secures it. Intelligence, Lori Franchi protects it. Real estate, Abbas hides it. It's a machine. It's a machine. The same machine that murdered our son, Richard Halliday, for exposing it. And I think that is, wow, something to share. Absolutely all these LLCs, all this bribe money, all of these connections. They need to be investigated. And I think because of what we just saw in the ledger of Mencho, that we are, you have a lot of people like um, Tony Gonzalez, right? Like um, Greg Abbott, because we know that they were getting funded by the El Paso Mormon faction cartel. We know that. And, so that explains why, and so many others who are on this bribery payroll, right? The system has been developed. I mean, the whole Trojan horse has been growing and growing and growing and growing. And so it explains why things have been going the way they have been in Mexico and also in the United States. And I hope that that is, to know why is a huge step forward, a huge step forward. And it's kind of like the sacrament of confession. You have to have that epistemological self consciousness. And the reason why I use that term is because during homeschooling, years and years and years ago, we learned that, and Richard loved that. He loved that term, epistemological self consciousness. And it means to know yourself. You have to know what's happening. You have to know your what you need to confess. And so right now we know through this ledger who got the bribes, and we need to know who in the United States are, because these cartels are in every 50 state, and they are embedded in, they have badges, they have access. I mean, the pilot's daughter of Jeffrey Epstein is at Fort Huachuca given top secret clearance into our military intelligence hub database. This is a national security breach to the max. To the max. Jeffrey Epstein, hey, yeah, I paid for your school. Hey, Brooke, did you give me your report yet? What's going on? Who's doing that? Did you see his reports in the files? I mean, he got a daily news report like only a president would get. Absolutely, this is crazy, and a good thing that it is being revealed. So let me go through all of the comments. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on so late, and it's just developed like that. Here we are, almost 2 o'clock in the morning, and yes, Dagmar, thank you so much. Wow. Exactly. Their cartel connections are falling. And since we don't know how many Trojan horses we have in our government, military, naval, National Guard, Air Force, yeah, it is, but it needs to happen, because what is the alternative? What is the alternative? To look the other way, to put our head in a hole and let them exploit us. And I'm saying that in the nicest, friendliest way I can say it. And let that evil, that demonic, that flesh peddling, the human flesh peddling, the human flesh eating continue and grow, because they're never satisfied. Their bellies are never full. Donald Trump's name is on the Epstein files also. I, people say make those accusations and they never show it. I get documents on Beto O'Rourke. I get documents on Clinton. I get documents on Mandami. But, what's going on here? On the bushes, if you want a rhino in there. Um, so people make these statements and they don't bring any receipts with them. So, Jonathan, you need to bring some receipts. I don't see any receipts. That's like me saying everything that I say and have no receipts. I put it up there. I put it up there. Um, we didn't come. Look, our history is so skewed. Chicago is an ancient city. El Paso is an ancient city. San Francisco is an ancient city. Who was really there? Because the natives did not have the technology to build what has been discovered in Chicago, in El Paso, in San Francisco, and many different places around the United States. No way. So, who does it really belong to? And the right now, we have a law of the land. We have borders and we have law of the land, and that has to be respected because then we have no country. And then we just have chaos. So I don't buy that kind of comment either. Um yeah, I mean, Clinton, cuz there's no receipts. He knows he has to bring receipts if he goes in. Um Clinton needs to have the blue dress. The blue dress is on him. So, yeah, just all this talk and you know, no, where's the beef, right? And then the vulgar talk has to start too, right? When they don't bring any receipts, then the next thing they do is start using foul language or, insulting people that are actually saying, well, where are the receipts? What we're seeing is not what you're saying. And, there's psyops everywhere. We're not falling for them anymore. We're not falling for the psyops anymore. We don't want the little squiggly lines in our eyes and go, ooh. No, we are absolutely looking at reality. Um, Reality is that El Mencho ledgers we have. We have. And let me tell you, um, this whole thing with Erika Kirk, if he didn't want that to get out, he could absolutely help her. But he's staying silent. He's letting the truth get out there. Weird how there are many slot machines at the DKs that are now OXXO, Mexican gas stations. Really good point there, Laura. Because they were, part of this whole thing is all the fuel theft, right? And I don't even know if I've done that justice of putting up all of the fuel theft, because that is really huge because CJNG is involved in that fuel theft. And of course, Fort Bliss. Yes, thank you so much. Yeah. Um, you have no idea what Candace has. She is barely letting the tip of the iceberg for security reasons. Well, what she's releasing is, well, let's just say we have a lot more that we're trying to check and put the dots together before we release it also. But those names and of course, Fort Huachuca and Fort Bliss are connected. They're connected. So if it's happening at Fort Huachuca, it it includes Fort Bliss. Yes. Absolutely. Just keep documenting, documenting everything. Laura, you're very good at that, and file it. File it, file it, file it. Because so many people are filing right now. You are not alone. You are not alone. So many people. I can tell you that. So there is, I mean, for George Giorgetti to be arrested, that's a big deal. That's a big indication. And I hope that Leilani Hart's, I'm just waiting for her to get arrested because she absolutely needs to get arrested. So thank you everyone for coming on so late. Thank you so much. God bless you. Please share, share, share. We're reaching millions because of you, and we love you. We could not do this without you. And so thank you so much. God bless you. And